Hello and welcome to Political Theatre. I am Vishal Dahiya. India is the largest democracy in the world. The twists and turns in the world of Indian politics attract everyone's attention. Several political developments take place simultaneously across the country, making it difficult for the people to keep a track of these events and understand their impact. Every week, we bring to you the top political events of the week and analyze and decode them for you. This week, we will take a look at all the important political developments of 2017 and then analyze them with our guest in the studio, senior journalist and Rajya Sabha MP, Mr. Swapan Das Gupta. Sir, welcome to the show. So let's begin with the heart of Indian democracy, the Parliament. For Parliament, 2017 was a mixed year. While there were legislative accomplishments with various key bills passed, the disruptions of proceedings continued to weaken deliberations in both houses of Parliament. Total sittings of both houses remained at 57 days this year, with budget session being the most productive for both houses. Let's take a look at what all happened in the Parliament in 2017.
Parliament in 2017 was marked by disruptions, delays and comparatively less discussion on national issues, but also the passing of key bills.
House stands adjourned to meet again at 12 o'clock.
The ongoing winter session of Parliament witnessed disruptions in the first few days, leading to repeated adjournment of proceedings in both houses.
I don't want this sort of scenes to be telecast around the country.
We do not want this stalemate as a result of this to continue.
The stalemate finally came to an end in the last few days of the year, and key bills were passed by both houses. This year, Parliament worked for 57 days, which is less than the annual average of 70 days since 2000. Last time Parliament met for fewer days was in 2008, when it met for 46 days. In terms of productivity, during the budget session, Lok Sabha worked for 108% of its scheduled time and Rajya Sabha for 86%. In monsoon session, this fell to 67% for Lok Sabha and 72% for Rajya Sabha. In the first week of the winter session, this number fell further to approximately 50% in Lok Sabha and 36% in Rajya Sabha. While disruption of proceedings has been a common feature in the past couple of years, the year 2017 was different in many aspects.
I rise to present a budget.
Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha had a very productive budget session. And the monsoon session also saw some key bills being cleared and issues being debated in both houses. 34% of the government's expenditure was discussed in both houses this year, the second highest proportion of total expenditure discussed by Parliament over the last decade. This budget session saw three key changes in the budget process. Budget was presented on the 1st of February instead of the usual last day of February. The railway budget was merged with the union budget, discontinuing a 92-year-old practice. And the plan and non-plan classification of expenditure were removed. The government was successful in getting some key bills approved by Parliament in 2017. Among the most important were 4 bills passed in April, which operationalized the goods and services tax regime. Other key bills passed this year include the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2015, the Real Estate Regulation and Development Bill 2013, the Aadhaar Targeted Delivery of Financial and Other Subsidies, Benefits and Services Bill 2016, the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2017, Companies Amendment Bill 2016 and the Indian Forest Amendment Bill 2017. Parliament also passed a bill in the budget session increasing maternity leave for women from 12 weeks to 26 weeks. On the second last working day of 2017, another historic legislation, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill, which makes the practice of instant triple talaq illegal, was also passed by the Lok Sabha. However, it was not all smooth sailing for the government in Parliament. The opposition in Rajya Sabha scored a legislative victory in July when it forced the amendment of a key provision of a bill giving constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes. In addition to debating legislation, the two houses also deliberated on national issues. These ranged from electoral reforms to lynching and mob violence, the Quit India movement, which completed 75 years, sustainable development goals, the crisis in the farm sector and the flood fury.
And for more details on this, we are joined by Mr. Swapan Das Gupta, senior journalist and Rajya Sabha MP. Sir, once again, welcome to Rajya Sabha TV studios. How do you look at 2017 for Parliament? In terms of days, it was less than the average which we have seen since 2000. But in terms of productivity, the budget session was much better than monsoon and maybe winter as well, which is going on right now.
Well, you see, the first half, or at least the first quarter, was spent with a lot of disruption over the demonetization issue. Where not much discussion actually happened, but more disruption. What is strange is that when the Parliament gets down to business, it actually enacts legislation. It has meaningful discussions. We had some pretty meaningful discussions on the question of the GST, although there was marked by a certain degree of acrimony and in the end, a complete unanimity, at least in the Rajya Sabha, on the GST. So that, to my mind, was perhaps the most path-breaking of all these, because this is one piece of legislation which is going to have a significant effect in the foreseeable, and it's going to change the contours of the revenue gathering system in India. So that, to my mind, will mark 2017 as the most important. The other important thing was something which happened last week, which only the Lok Sabha has done, which is really the triple talaq bill, what is called the protection of women, Muslim women rights. That again, but to my mind, that is a debate which is likely to continue in the Rajya Sabha, although I would foresee that probably it may not end as fast as it did in the Lok Sabha.
In Lok Sabha. But another aspect, the first quarter was marred by disruptions. Exactly the same way the first half of the winter session was also marred by disruptions. Do you see in 2018 some way being brought out, or some, a common ground for both government and opposition to ensure that not so much disruption we see in the next year?
Well, it's obviously a fond desire to hope that there's going to be less disruption. I think by about the middle of next year, the balance of power in the Rajya Sabha is going to shift a little bit in favor of the ruling side. So whether that will have an immediate effect or not remains to be seen. I think what is really important is public pressure has to be mounted on parliamentarians to ensure that acrimony can actually be expressed in debate rather than slogan shouting.
Okay, so let's hope that 2018 will be a little different for the Parliament than it has been in 2017. Let's look at another story here, and that is about elections which took place in several states. 2017 was a year of far-reaching political developments for the country. For the BJP, it turned out to be a period of unprecedented consolidation. In the course of the year, the ruling party at the centre went on to form government in 6 out of 7 states that went to polls. By the end of 2017, the BJP had a majority government in 14 states and held power in other 5 with alliance partners. The electoral fortunes of opposition parties witnessed a steep decline, with main opposition party Congress able to win just 1 state.
In February-March of 2017, millions of Indians queued up outside polling booths in 5 states. Billed as a mini general election, the elections were the first major test for the BJP, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after the demonetization decision. Occupying the pride of place in these elections was Uttar Pradesh, followed by Punjab, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur. By the time votes were counted on March 11th, Prime Minister Modi and BJP Chief Amit Shah had scripted a BJP victory, so huge that even the party leaders were left stunned. Even more astonishing was the fact that the huge win of 325 seats in a House of 403 was achieved without the party even announcing a chief ministerial candidate. Samajwadi Party, which ruled for 5 years, was restricted to just 47 seats, and its alliance partner, the Congress, only 7. BSP, which expected a large chunk of anti-incumbency vote, also had a very dismal performance with just 19 seats. The election broke many records, but one feature that stood out was the overwhelming support of women, with almost 63% expressing their faith in Prime Minister Modi's leadership. The winning march of the BJP extended to neighbouring Uttarakhand as well, where it ended the 10-year run of the Congress government. Although the BJP was helped by defections of some senior Congress leaders and ministers in the state, the convincing victory margin, winning 57 of the 70 assembly seats, once again showed that demonetization clearly was not a limiting factor for the BJP. For the Congress, some consolation came in Punjab under the leadership of Captain Amarinder Singh and the arrival of Navjot Singh Sidhu. The Congress rode to a comfortable victory on an anti-incumbency wave. While the exit polls had predicted the results, the surprise loser turned out to be the Aam Aadmi Party that was tipped to win the polls, but ended up being the main opposition party with just 20. The Congress won 77 seats, and the Shiromani Akali Dal BJP combined, which ruled the state for 10 years, could only manage 18 seats out of 117. In the 2012 elections in Manipur, the BJP secured just 2% of the votes, failing to win any of the 19 seats it contested. In 2017, it reversed the record, contesting all the 60 seats and winning 21. The Congress also secured 28 seats, with both parties falling short of the majority mark in the 60-member assembly. However, with help from smaller parties like the National People's Party, the Nagaland People's Front and the LJP, the BJP finally formed its first government in the state. The election results in Goa also threw up a hung assembly, with the BJP winning just 13 seats and the Congress 17 in the 40-member assembly. The BJP strategy managers, however, acted swiftly by recalling Parrikar to the state and enlisting the support of the Goa Forward Party, the Maharashtravadi Gomantak Party and 2 independents to reach the magic figure of 21. Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh were the 2 prizes at stake when the next round of state elections took place in December. The Congress was expected to run a tight race against the BJP in Gujarat. But once again, when the ballots were accounted for, the BJP had managed to secure its 6th straight victory in the state. While its winning margin had shrunk, the party had 99 seats in its kitty, comfortably past the majority mark of 92 in the 182-member assembly. The Congress managed to win 77 seats. Hobbled by an anti-incumbency factor, the Congress seemed to be fighting a lost cause in Himachal Pradesh much before the election process had begun. The results proved these expectations, with the BJP taking 44 seats in the 68-member assembly. The only blip in the radar for the party was the defeat of its chief ministerial face, Prem Kumar Dhumal. Dhumal's defeat paved the way for Jairam Thakur becoming the chief minister of the state. Himachal also maintained its tradition of changing the government after every election.
Our political analyst for the year, Mr. Swapan Das Gupta, is still with us. Mr. Gupta, very interesting electoral battles which we witnessed in this year, and both in Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, and these all were watched very keenly. BJP seems to have had an upper hand throughout the year as far as electoral battles are concerned. Where exactly do you give the credit for that, and what exactly did Congress miss on the other side that they did not fare that well?
Well, I think one thing which is very clear about the spectacular victory of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, which is really probably the biggest electoral battle that took place, their ability to wrest Himachal Pradesh and retain Gujarat, although by a slightly lesser margin. I think in all these areas, we find that it was really the impact of the Prime Minister which really showed itself. So Mr. Modi, apart from having an impact in national politics, appears to be the most formidable regional player as well. Now, in electoral terms, this is a great asset for the BJP. Whether in governance terms, it turns out to be a liability. Because, after all, Mr. Modi only governs from Delhi. He doesn't govern from the state.
You can win elections with one face, but you can't govern with one face.
So that's the issue which I think is the biggest challenge to the BJP, their ability to actually have or generate enough local leaders. Overall, yes, it's been a good year for the BJP. It's been a spectacular year for the BJP and not very good for the Congress because Congress lost Manipur, Congress lost Himachal. They, of course, managed to get Punjab. That, of course, remains one of their credit.
Meanwhile, in the next story, we are again looking at what exactly went well for the BJP and went not so well for the Congress. 2017 was not just about winning elections for the BJP led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister had a much bigger battle on their hand: bold economic reforms. Demonetization or the goods and services tax regime needed an emphatic endorsement from the people. The year saw Prime Minister Modi getting precisely this mandate. In the process, it established the Modi phenomena as an inescapable reality of Indian politics. Main opposition party, Congress, also witnessed change of guard with 6th member of the Nehru-Gandhi family taking over as party president.
Year 2017 started with the political prospect of a resounding popular verdict on the demonetization measure in 5 election-bound states. The biggest of these verdicts was to come from Uttar Pradesh. The other 4 states, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur, were no less politically significant. When the election results were announced in March, they became a ringing popular endorsement not only for the demonetization move, but also for the unquestioned popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his BJP.
इन 5 राज्यों के चुनाव को नए हिंदुस्तान की एक नई नींव के रूप में मैं देख रहा हूं.
As the year progressed, the BJP's political march to capture power in the states wasn't confined to winning elections alone. 4 months later, in July, Nitish Kumar ended his association with the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar and joined his erstwhile rival, the BJP, to make Bihar the 5th state in which the BJP extended its domination in 2017. The BJP's election victories cemented Modi's popularity as an incorruptible leader capable of taking prompt decisions. Armed with precisely this mandate, the Modi government rolled out the GST regime at the stroke of midnight on 30th of June. GST was yet another politically fraught step that would become a big election issue.
जो कदम मैं उठा रहा हूं, जिस रास्ते पर मैं चल पड़ा हूं और देश को जिस मंजिल पर पहुंचाने का मकसद लेकर के निकला हूं, इसकी कितनी बड़ी राजनीतिक कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, इसका मुझे भला भारा अंदाज है, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं.
But sure enough, Modi and the BJP settled the debate, winning 2 more electoral verdicts in which the GST topic dominated in Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh. But while the electoral wins that came in the first half of the year saw Modi's BJP fighting an opposition that was in disarray, the second half proved remarkably different. Election results that came in Gujarat especially pointed to a distinct urban-rural divide and also more public traction for the political campaign mounted by the Congress and other opposition parties against the BJP. For the Congress, year 2017 started with a decline in the face of the BJP's upswing. The 5 election results further reinforced the impression. It was only in the second half of the year that the Congress seemed to shake off its indecisiveness. Rallying behind Rahul Gandhi, the party ran a campaign that was effective enough in limiting the BJP to under 100 seats in Gujarat.
जब हम गुजरात गए थे तो कहा गया था कि कांग्रेस पार्टी बीजेपी से लड़ नहीं सकती. 3-4 महीने का हमने सॉलिड काम किया. रिजल्ट आपने देखा है. बीजेपी को जबरदस्त झटका पड़ा है.
Rahul Gandhi also shared his reluctance in assuming charge of the Congress, becoming the 6th member of the Nehru-Gandhi family to take charge of the party. For the Congress, however, the Gujarat-Himachal electoral verdict will remain a huge disappointment and a precursor of the gigantic political battle it has up ahead in 2019.
Taking it from there, from the electoral battles, taking those bold economic reforms, having a majority government at the center, winning a majority in Uttar Pradesh as well, but then after you've taken bold decisions like demonetization, and then you go on and decide to roll out GST and then go to polls in your home state, Gujarat, where everybody is looking at you. So was it a big gamble which Prime Minister played this year and finally, ended up being successful at that?
Well, it was an enormous gamble. It's not just a big gamble, I would say it's a colossal gamble. Because I think the Prime Minister put his entire political capital at stake in that. Now, the GST may have been a tax which had been discussed for over a decade, and at the end of the day, there was a unanimity about it. But there was no denying that it would also have a short-term disruptive effect. That the extent of that disruptive effect was one which we are still going to witness for a long time. So, how do you manage that turbulence? It's very interesting that in most other countries where the GST has been rolled out, the government which rolled out the GST has been voted out. So Mr. Modi was well aware of that, and yet he banked on that. Now that's political courage, but it's also phenomenal political risk. So far, he seems to have managed. But I think this management of this turbulence is going to continue for some time.
Okay, for the Congress, how do you believe this year will move ahead? Because we saw in Gujarat how, Rahul Gandhi seems to have shed his image of a reluctant leader. There was a lot of movement in the party. How from here on do you foresee the path for Rahul Gandhi?
For the Congress, the great achievement is that leadership transition has been effected, for good or for bad. There is certainty on that. What the Congress now has to do is under what plank they will fight elections. Now here there are some mixed signals. At one level they fought by collecting localized dissidents, whether it was on the question of demonetization in Uttar Pradesh, whether it was on the GST in
the Patel quota agitation
and the Patel quota. So there is as yet no coherent unifying strategy and no clarity as to how this Congress, which at one time was a very grand party which would span all India. Now, how are they going to manage electoral coalitions?
Okay.
Are they going to be the leader of the electoral coalition in future? Or are they going to be the first among equals? Or are they going to be an equal partner? Now, these are issues which the Congress will have to deal with in the coming days.
Okay, work in progress, but big challenges lie ahead for the Congress and its new president, Rahul Gandhi. But it's not only about Congress. There are other smaller regional parties as well. At the close of the year 2017, the political landscape of India was dotted with a considerably diminished presence of regional parties. While many of them found themselves unable to fight back the electoral march of the BJP, only a handful, like the TRS in Telangana, found their dominance unchallenged in their states. But for quite a few parties, it was a time of political upheaval. Let's see how events unfolded for some of them in their respective states in 2017.
2017 saw big changes unfolding in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, where the main opposition party, the DMK's patriarch and five-time Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi, ended a 5-decade-long wait for party supporters, naming his son Stalin as a party chief. The announcement came at a time when the ruling AIADMK in the state was grappling with the aftermath of a complicated power struggle. It started with V.K. Shashikala, the longtime friend of late Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, being selected to become Chief Minister in February. The move triggered a rebellion by the incumbent Chief Minister and her rival O. Pannirselvam. However, barely a few days later, Shashikala was convicted in a disproportionate assets case and sent to a Bengaluru jail for 4 years. Shashikala appointed Edappadi K. Palaniswamy as a legislative party leader and chief minister, with her nephew TTV Dinakaran as the deputy general secretary of the AIADMK party. However, Dinakaran lost the battle of claim over party's two-leaf symbol, with the Election Commission ruling in favour of rival factions of O. Pannirselvam and Palaniswamy. Later in the year, the two AIADMK factions came together, sidelining Dinakaran. Palaniswamy remained chief minister, while O. Pannirselvam agreed to be his deputy. Dinakaran won the byport to J. Jayalalitha's erstwhile constituency, R.K. Nagar, throwing wide open the debate of who was the inheritor of her legacy. The year also ended with some cheering in the DMK camp, with its leaders A. Raja and Kannimuri being acquitted in the 2G telecom case. The BJD government in Odisha, led by Naveen Patnaik, got a jolt early in the year, with the BJP winning 299 seats out of the 848 seats in the Panchayat elections. Main opposition in the state, Congress, was pushed to a third position. The results indicated the BJD had lost its supremacy for the first time in nearly 17 years of uninterrupted rule in the state. In neighbouring West Bengal, the Mamata Banerjee-led Trinamool Congress suffered a blow, with senior party leader Mukul Roy announcing his resignation. Roy joined the BJP. While the TMC consolidated its hold in various by-polls and civic elections in the state, it saw the BJP gaining in terms of vote share, emerging as a credible political threat to the ruling party in the state. The ruling JDU in Bihar saw bitter internal squabble, with veteran leader Sharad Yadav revolting against Nitish Kumar's decision to return to the NDA fold. Sharad Yadav faction made an unsuccessful claim over the party symbol, and later in the year he, along with one more JDU MP, were disqualified from the Rajya Sabha. Already stung by Nitish's decision to switch sides, RJD's top leadership had other troubles in store as well in 2016. The Ford scam case returned to send RJD chief Lalu Prasad to jail for the 8th time in Bihar. Lalu and 15 others were convicted for fraudulently withdrawing 89 lakh rupees earmarked for the Animal Husbandry Department when Lalu was chief minister. The year also saw the Enforcement Directorate filing a charge sheet against his daughter Misa Bharti and her husband in a money laundering case. In Maharashtra, the Shiv Sena continued to play the role of a troubled ally for the ruling BJP. The party losing no opportunity to taunt its senior partner on various issues. Trouble also brewed between two other alliance partners, the NCP and the Congress. It started with the controversy over the Rajya Sabha election in Gujarat involving Congress leader, and ending with both the parties contesting the Assembly state elections separately. BSP saw some signs of revival after having fared poorly in Assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh in 2017. Party chief Mayawati quit her Rajya Sabha seat to focus on organizational revamp, and it brought some positive results for the party in UP civic polls, with the BSP bagging 2 mayoral seats.
Mr. Das Gupta is still with us. Last but not the least, other players in the political field as well, regional parties. If you look at Uttar Pradesh, the Samajwadi Party and the Bahujan Samaj Party. If you look at other places, other regional players as well have so well. Down south, you had AIADMK completely in disarray. DMK, yes, has got a new leader, but doesn't seem to have made good use of the opportunities as found in the political landscape of the state. So how do you look at this year for the regional parties?
Well, there are some states where the regional parties have been doing rather well. And you pointed out TRS is probably in Telangana has been doing okay. It's been consolidating its hold. Mamata Banerjee too has been consolidating its hold. BJD in Orissa, which has been there for a very long time, still finds itself very much...
But they got a rude shock in the Panchayat elections.
They got a rude shock in the Panchayat election, but they're still there very much in the reckoning. I think the turbulence is there in the Samajwadi Party, because there was a father and son battle, which had a devastating effect on the electoral outcome. You had the RJD, which not only lost ruling party syndrome, but now finds its leader in jail. Anna DMK is almost rudderless, and that to my mind has very dangerous implications as far as the future governance of Tamil Nadu is concerned. Communists, who at one time were a great force in Indian politics, the left, today find themselves shrinking and really reduced to only Kerala and Tripura. In West Bengal, their decimation is almost complete. Aam Aadmi Party at one time threatened to become a national force. I think they've been disappointed in their thing, although they remain a force in Delhi. And we've seen some other new movements, but like we saw in Gujarat, but they seem to be identifying and attaching themselves to mainstream parties. So the regional players are going to be an important factor in the 2019 elections, but there is no uniform pattern.
There is no uniform pattern, but they will obviously play a very important role in 2019. So clearly, we have had a look at the entire political scenario. This was the roundup of all important political developments in 2017. We will continue to bring the details of weekly political events in 2018 as well. With warm New Year wishes from me and my team, we'll take your leave. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.